Let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. The Atlanta Falcons definitely had a very interesting draft, to say the least, as I don't think there was anyone who thought they were actually going to pick Michael Penix Jr. with the 8th overall pick. My personal opinion, I thought that Roma Doomsday was staring you in the face, but I digress. Nonetheless, here we are. The Atlanta Falcons are in a very peculiar situation where now they have Kirk Cousins as well as a young and up and coming quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. But in last season and last time we saw Kirk Cousins healthy, he was completing almost 70% of his passes, had about 2,331 passing yards, 18 touchdowns to 5 picks, 7.5 yards per attempt. Kirk Cousins legit was an MVP candidate at one point last season before that unfortunate Achilles injury. So while everyone is kind of on the fence about the signing in general, I do think that the Kirk Cousins signing is definitely going to help this team, at least in the short term. Now, obviously, we need him to stay healthy, but I mean, we really got to talk about how the Falcons have cooked over these past few years, man. Like, I mean, they've done. I think they've done pretty good with their picks. I mean, they've had a lot of top 10 picks. I mean, you started with Drake, or actually, I think Kyle Pitts was first. Technically, yeah, Kyle Pitts with the fourth. Kyle Pitts 4th overall. Then you draft Drake London, 8th overall, and then you follow that up with Bijan at 8, right? And then Penix Jr. showing his stats, completed 65% of his passes, about 4,903 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The only thing that really makes the Penix pick bad, in my opinion, is just it's curious, or it's very interesting that they would pick a quarterback after giving Kirk all that money. But I digress. Side note, just random thought: why the Falcons always end up with the 8th overall pick? Can we talk about it? Like this, they've had 3 picks at 8 specifically though in the last 4 years. It's very interesting. Now with the Falcons team in general, you still got Grady Jarrett, one of the more underrated defensive tackles. You got number 90. I do not want to butcher the man's last name. David, you know who I'm talking about if you're a Falcons fan. He's a pretty good player. Got AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates. Now, I'm going to be honest, after that, I'm not really that impressed with the defense. And then, now, here's something I found interesting, right? The Falcons drafted 3 defensive tackles. I didn't realize that. The Falcons draft just in general was very interesting, very confusing in a sense. Like, Penix Jr. is already a questionable pick. I kind of see the vision though. Like, even though I'm not a fan of it, I see the vision, right? Because this pick can easily look good if Kirk gets hurt or he underperforms, right? However, I feel like while everybody's talking about the Penix pick, personally, I think them picking that Rook, I'm not trying to butcher his last name, Rook, that they drafted in the 2nd round from Clemson, I felt like that was probably their worst pick just because of who was sitting there. What's his name? Johnny Newton, who I've heard about throughout the whole draft process out of, I want to say Illinois. And he was staring you in the face and you didn't pick him. And next pick, the Commanders got an absolute steal. Pretty sure the Commanders is who took him, bro. Like, that was the pick I said, okay, like what are the Falcons cooking here? You know what I mean? Like, very interesting. So we're going to see how that goes. But like I said, they drafted 3 defensive tackles. Now, Grady Jarrett only has 2 years left on his deal at $15 million per year. And then number 90, David, he got about $18 million total for 2 years on his deal. So I guess that's why, but I don't know. Still interesting. Now, the reason why I said they probably could have picked Johnny Newton from Illinois is because, according to PFF, their pass rush ranked 27th out of 32 teams on PFF in terms of generating pass rush or generating pressure, which obviously you need to fix that, which is why I do like the Braylon Trice pick in the 3rd round. I thought that was a really good pick, right? But I'm not going to lie, besides the Trice pick, I wasn't really a fan of the draft. I'm going to be honest, it was okay, right? Now, the coverage unit, which is I think what they should have been drafting, ranked 25th out of 32 teams on PFF. And then, interesting enough, their special teams ranked 30th out of 32 teams. So there's a lot of room for improvement with this team. I think they did make certain picks right, but Did the Atlanta Falcons make a mistake? I truly do think they did. Like, if you were going to draft a franchise quarterback, I feel like you could have did it next year. More importantly, you drafted an older quarterback at that. So, Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson definitely got their work cut out for them as first year on the Falcons, first year head coach. Once again for Raheem Morris, pretty sure he was a head coach already, but I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how Penix Jr. is going to develop behind Kirk. Hopefully, he gets the right development, and the Falcons can strive in the near future.